I think the pandemic was a pivotal moment in the sense that people had to listen to scientists, and mostly I think scientists were also used for like political communication. Like politics or politicians didn't really know what to do, which is normal. They're politicians. They usually don't have a scientific background. I also wouldn't know what to do. I'm not a virologist, for example.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they often just like pushed the scientists to do the political communication, whereas that's the job of a politician. We can't vote for scientists. We can't vote for politicians. And I think people got confronted with a lot of scientific insights and current findings and uncertainty, but there wasn't the time to communicate all that uncertainty. And now I think there has been some friction. I think people have to see science more again for what it is. Now that's also a bit more on the background. Then it was every day like, oh, maybe there's a new vaccine coming, or maybe we can develop a pill that makes the symptoms less intense, or maybe like a nose spray. Or every day there was some kind of hope, or we still have to wait long for a vaccine, or should we use masks and all that. It was a constant stream of information. Even for me, it was too much, even though I was interested. But so duality again, I think the urgency has increased, but it's not as urgent as it might seem at the same time, I think.
What you're saying there maybe makes me think that maybe there is a moment to capitalize on because it's not, or maybe the strategy is to try and do this messaging not in the urgent way, not in that everyday hitting the alarm bell kind of thing. And maybe that was a problem with, the pandemic. Again, we can use the pandemic as kind of like a case study of like when science really, really impacts. I would say it's always impacting your life, but this was when it was like front and center for a lot of people, probably for the first time. I have a question for you on that, and I'm maybe deviating a little bit, but do you think during that time, and this is very broad, you could look at different countries and stuff, but just a broad sense, was it the friction that came, this sort of this let's say anti-science or antitrust movement that I think kind of really accelerated during that pandemic, and is kind of what we're seeing now is like it's the legacy of that. Where do you put that? I guess blame is maybe the wrong word, but the blame for that kind of thing. Is it failure of authorities and scientists to communicate, or a concerted effort by some people with loud microphones to undermine that message?
Yeah, that's a tough one. And
I'm going to go ahead and say, like, for me, a bit of both. that's the cop-out answer, but I wonder how you see those
I'll
two.
diverge a bit as well. This summer I read A Pest by Camus, and I was quite relieved, actually, not to read about the plague, but because I noticed a lot of things that were the same during the COVID-19 pandemic. You had like local authorities who didn't know what to do. You had scientists working a lot. You had like doctors going everywhere. And you had people who didn't believe them, who were like, no, this will just blow over and it will be fine. Or, no, you see, the authorities also don't know what to do, so I just won't listen. And I think people stay largely the same, but the context changes. Now, indeed, there are those people who I think in the setting of the plague by Camus is in like the 1940s. Those people would just go to other people and start rambling about, this is all just it's just some rats walking around. It's not that nothing's happening. It's just something simple. Those people can now go on social media and find companions all around the world, whereas then it was just in one village. For example. So I think the microphone the audience has gotten bigger for those people. But at the same time, I do also think it was a bit of failing of the authorities, in the sense that, and I understand that, they didn't know what to do, but sometimes they gave the illusion of knowing what to do and not being transparent about the fact that they actually didn't know what to do.